Alright guys, it's hot as frig out here today, but I figured I'd do a little bit of a vintage tractor update for you. So here's one you haven't seen in a while. This is my 1966 Huffy Park Lane. I'm thinking of unofficially calling this the Park Lane GT or the Huffy GT now, just because there's really not much of 1966 left in this thing. But I've been doing lots of tweaks. You can see the hood is finally finished, painted. Looks like fucking glass. Professional automotive clear coat, and then I cut and buffed it with 2000 and 3000 grit sandpaper, and then did a 3-stage clear coat buff after that. So it is beautifully shiny, shinier than it's ever been. I threw the macro on real quick just so I can get a zoom in on this metal flake job. This is that Duplicolor paint shop paint. Look at that stuff, isn't that beautiful? But yeah, anyways, the hood is done. That's not the only thing that has changed with this go-kart in the past couple weeks. In fact, actually a lot has changed on this go-kart in the past week or two. Mostly little minor adjustments, but you know, all these little small things that I've been fixing will probably ultimately total up into a very big difference, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Now, without going into super extreme detail, almost all of the tweaks and modifications took place on the motor. The only recent one you guys really saw was me changing the idler sprocket. It used to be spring mounted, but I got rid of that. So now there is actually less rolling resistance in the drivetrain, so hopefully there's less parasitic loss on the chain without that spring-loaded tensioner. So the little changes to the motor were basically the spark plug gap. I changed that from, I think it was originally like 28 thousandths, and I increased it to 40 thousandths. It's what's recommended online by a lot of the people that modify these GX200s, so that's what I went with. Bigger spark means bigger fire, which means a little bit better burn. Because when I pulled that spark plug out of there, it was pitch black, which means it's running really rich. So in addition to gapping the spark plug, I also changed the jet out in the carburetor. So while I was in there, I changed the jet, which NR Racing put in a number 95 jet and the stock original GX200 emulsion tube, and I put in a 140 emulsion tube with a 92 jet to put a little bit more power in the low end power band and to get rid of some of the rich running condition that I was reading on the spark plug. Some of the other things that I changed were the timing. I adjusted it. It was set to 28 degrees. I backed it off to 25 degrees. I also changed the air gap, which you obviously can't see, on the coil where it meets the billet flywheel. I adjusted that to about 20 thousandths of an inch. It seemed like that was generally what was recommended online, so that's what I went with. And the last thing I actually did was check the valve lash, and to do that I had to remove this whole nut guard thing right here, and that just comes off with 4 bolts, and then you take a couple bolts off your valve cover and that pops off, and inside you've got your rocker arms with your valves. And I bought a feeler gauge and I adjusted my valve lash, which was way off, so I brought the valve lash back within spec, which was 3 thousandths on the exhaust, 2 thousandths on the intake, and fired it up, and this thing runs ridiculously well. But actions speak louder than words, so I'm going to fire it up real quick and let you guys hear it for yourself. And secondly, we have my, I forget the year, 75 or 76 Sears SS 16 Onan twin. Really haven't done much with this thing since you guys saw me last start it up. It's pretty much in the same spot, in the same condition. I've done a lot of research on parts, looking for parts, pricing them out, comparison shopping, stuff like that, trying to figure out what to do with this thing ultimately, what my big goals are, and how much I really want to invest in it. And that's right about where you guys come in. I got a big dilemma on my hands here. I got a lot of you that really want me to use this Onan motor, and I know nothing about Onins, and the parts are really expensive and really hard to find, so I'm getting very discouraged using this goddamn Onin motor, plus the fact it weighs like 150 pounds by itself. It's really, really heavy, so this thing's gonna suck in the mud. So I can bite the bullet and just deal with the Onin, deal with the problems, fix it, get it going, because it's got good compression. It's not that bad a motor, it's just I don't know much about it and they're expensive to deal with. Option A, I could source and price out a Briggs & Stratton V-twin, like an Intech or a Vanguard or something along those lines. Not really picky. Anything over 15-20 horsepower would obviously be sufficient, because I'm not doing anything crazy with this thing, but it would be cool to have the V-twin sound on the front of this big ass old tractor. Option number 2, and this is probably going to be the one that everyone wants me to do. This was actually given to me by La Pavoni Mac. He came by a few days ago and we were working on his tractor and we were kind of discussing this thing, and he mentioned throwing a small single-cylinder diesel on this thing, and he said you can actually come by them quite cheap, which I wasn't aware of. I've looked for them. Come to find out, on eBay you can pick up a diesel motor, single-cylinder, 10 horsepower, puts out about 18 pounds of torque almost right away at idle, which is ridiculous for a motor. 18 pounds of torque at idle. But yeah, you can pick one of those up for about $500 or $600. It's a lot of money, but I don't really know of anyone that's got a Sears SS 16 with a diesel motor on it, because you put the diesel motor on it, chooch stack, you know, rolling fucking coal out the top. It would be pretty awesome seeing black smoke coming out of the top of the SS 16 running a diesel. But yeah, that's pretty much it on the Sears. Sorry it's not a big update on the Sears, it's just more or less asking you guys a couple questions. What do you want to see? Do you want to see me fix the Onin? Do you want to see Briggs V-twin? Do you want to see 10 horsepower diesel go on this thing? Pretty much open either way. It's looking like it's going to cost me quite a bit of money no matter which route I go, so I mean really another month or two of YouTube payouts and I could buy one of these motors. So let me know what you guys think. Tell me what you think I should do. As the summer rolls on, this is going to kind of be a small back burner project that I'm going to work on. Let me know what you guys think about the Sears. Comment below. Gonna get this Huffy GT. We're gonna get that sucker out within the next day or two. It's really fucking hot out here, so I'm gonna wait till it cools off a little bit and there's a little less humidity so this thing runs right. We're gonna be GoPro in the ride, so you guys will get to feel the real speed on this thing, and hopefully I break 50 miles an hour this time, so it'll be nuts. But yeah, catch me in the next video, and thanks for watching.